Hello, I am going to do a different kind of video than I usually do today, and I'm going to talk about using AI writing assistants to rewrite PLR easily. So we're always kind of told repurpose, rewrite your PLR so that it's unique and different from everyone else. So I want to show you a process that I've been experimenting to kind of go through the horde of PLR on my hard drive and get some of it published onto my niche blogs and have it original, have it longer, have it completely rewritten without having to rewrite it manually. So this almost becomes more of an editing process with a little bit of me thrown in to boot, and then also some use of some optimization tools, which is optional, but I am going to talk about that today. So I have tried some different AI writing assistants, and in a different video I'm going to compare rewriting the same article with 3 or 4 different tools that I have access to. But for this particular one, I want to show you the process of what I've been doing. And so I'm going to be using Conversion.ai, which is one of the ones that it has probably the most buzz about it. It's also known by the name Jarvis, which is really just the nickname they give to the robot writer. So I'm on the starter plan currently, which has pretty much everything except for the long form writing assistant, and it has a limited word count. I did have the full plan for a couple of months. I just was not happy with the output of the blog content. I just didn't feel that it was accurate enough. And accuracy to me is incredibly important. If you're going to be giving people tips and advice, it needs to be correct. So I got rid of that part of it, but I think there's a lot of useful tools in here. So I'm staying on the starter plan for the moment. Maybe after I do my comparison video, I will just stick with my other tools that I got through AppSumo. But again, that's for a different video. Let's just skip with all the intro chit chat and get right down to what I'm doing here. So we've got some different templates in Conversion.ai. These are some marketing ones here. I find these useful for sales pages, and I have used those for sales pages on my Content Accelerator site, actually. Content Improver is the main thing that I am using to help with this PLR rewrite. There are some things where you can create blog post outlines, so that might be a useful one to use here, and we'll take a look at it. I've also used intro paragraph. I have not used conclusion. That is a new feature, but intro paragraph works well. Explain it to a child will also rephrase things. I have not used that. Sentence expander will take something short and make it longer. And then we've got some different product ones. And I have also used some of the product description, feature to benefit I have used. And then also I have experimented with the Pinterest pin titles and descriptions as well. So there's lots of things here for helping you with social media and with e-commerce in particular and sales pages. For actual writing, I have found that rewriting articles using this has been the best use for me. Generating robot-generated original content just really isn't there yet, in my opinion. So let's go to Content Improver. And I am going to delete what I've been working on before. And so it gives you 400 characters that you can paste in here. This is your input, and you can choose a tone of voice. It doesn't give you any choices. You just basically write what you want, and you can click on this to see some suggestions. It also says how many outputs do you want. This defaults to 3 for all of the tools, but you can up it or down it. But every output counts towards your word count. So on the starter plan, I have 20,000 words per month. So all of my outputs are going to count towards that tally. So I have reduced it down to 2 because what I have found is that sometimes it struggles to come up with 3 unique rewrites, and it will just kind of very slightly change my original input. And quite honestly, I don't want to pay for that. So I've put this down to 2 inputs. All right, so with all that preliminary, let's go to this article here. This is an article from Jennifer Anderson's Health and Wellness, PLR, Tips for Getting Better Sleep Every Night. So we could rewrite this with the intro paragraph thing. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just start there. So templates, and let's find blog post intro. And so let's do tips for getting better sleep. And who is our audience? I think our audience is, let's try adults and teens maybe. And we will just make this friendly and generate. And let's just see what it comes up with. So I will probably pause the video at some points when it's spinning its wheels here. It takes roughly 10 seconds or so for it to generate something. So that is not bad, actually. And I like that even better. It's a little bit shorter and to the point. So let's open up a new document here. And I think I'm going to pick this. And partly I'm picking it too because the other one is a little bit medical. And so I would want to confirm all of those things. This is a little bit, it does have health benefits, but it's a little bit more general. So sleep is important. Getting enough can help with everything from immune system to being more productive. I know that to be true. Sleep deprivation has been linked to depression, obesity, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. So let's go ahead and just get rid of that, and we're just going to keep that intro paragraph. So that is a completely AI generated intro paragraph. Let's go back to the templates and let's go back to Jennifer's article. And so I really don't need to do this first paragraph now that I've generated a new one. So let's just pick one paragraph at a time. And I'm just going to paste it in here and get rid of what I had before. And friendly, and let's go ahead and generate. So I'm going to let these first ones run in real time so you can see how quickly it goes. Let's get my blank document back. Where did it go? This one here. And let's see. So this becomes an editing process. It's going to rewrite it, and I'm going to pick which one I like the best, and I may tweak it a little bit. And I'm just going to keep this more generic one again, because with health information, if you're not an expert in the field, you don't want to just take some of these facts as truth. This is really still introduction, so I'm going to skip that. So I'm going to do all of this, including the title. Paste that. And generate. And get back to my original document here. So the two green ones here are the ones that are new, and then it pushes your previous outputs down. Also, if you star it, it will add it to your favorites. If you ever get something that you think is just way off, you can report it and it'll ask you what's wrong with it. Okay, so best way is to stick to a sleep schedule. And I like the top one better. So we'll go ahead and do that one. And I don't really think I need to change much there. I'm happy with that. So we've got some short paragraphs here. Most of the time I go for one paragraph at a time because it usually is a single thought. But if they are related, then I may combine them. So this one here, I don't even think I need that. I could have combined that with the top one here because it talks about staying out all night. But these two, where it talks about health issues and doctors, let's go ahead and copy both of those because that's a similar idea. And we'll go ahead and generate that. So here's a situation where I like a little bit of both. So I'm going to copy both. Let's get my new document up here. So I'm going to paste that. And then I'm also going to copy this one and paste it. I'm going to get rid of the part that says it leads to health problems. And then combine that with the second paragraph. And then this paragraph here, and we'll paste that in. Okay, so I'm going to if you click on these two, you don't have to actually copy the whole thing. So I'm going to get the first couple lines of this paragraph. And because this kind of repeats this, I'm going to delete this one. And then let's click on this one. And I'm going to grab all of this. I like this. I'll worry about getting rid of the asterisks later. I think this is supposed to be bullet points. So let's continue on. All right, so next is create the right sleeping. And this is a single thought, so I'm going to do this along with the header. Generate. Okay, and for me this top one is clearly the winner here. And it actually really has expanded on here with adding in some tips. So it really knows what I'm talking about at this point and is adding in its own tips. And so I'm actually going to put my header in here. And just change it slightly to creating your sleeping environment. And then we'll post that. And again, I'm going to worry about formatting later, but I actually like a lot of this. It's got some specific ideas. And so these are ideas in this paragraph, so I don't need that one. Doesn't talk about blinds or mattresses, so we'll pick these two, paste that in, generate. And let's just pick this one. And we'll put that there. And we're getting close. So like I said, the environmental things was already in the paragraph that it gave us here, this big long one, and we can just work to make that a bulleted list when we go through and proofread everything. So let's pick these first two. And that is actually the end of the article. It's about 406 words. So this refers to caffeine. Let me get all of this here. Copy and paste and generate. And now we're done with that article. I actually don't like any of these. So let's go ahead and regenerate. The second one was nice, but it was too technical. I would have to fact check what it was telling me. Like I said, I don't really trust this to be completely accurate, so you need to be able to read through it and say, yes, I know this to be true, or no, I don't. And honestly, because I'm trying to rewrite this quickly and easily, I don't want to have to fact check a lot of stuff. I trust Jennifer's content, but I don't trust the robot. Okay. So this is not bad. Let's copy that. And we'll paste that. That's got the header in it. And there's really nothing new in there. So let's just leave it at that. Now let's see. We had 404 words in our original one, and let me see if I can bring this within the screen without it trying to go full size. Okay, let me get it. Okay, so I can't get the window to show in the screen capture area, but trust me when I say we started out with 400 words. We actually have 604 words now in our article. I'm not done with this yet, but if I wanted to leave it here, I would just give it a quick proofread yet, and it would be good to go. So this has been completely rewritten. There's not that much that is similar or even the same to the original article. So you can see I'm at the 18-minute mark. Again, trust me when I say that. We're at the 18-minute mark or so in this video, just beyond there. But I did spend the first couple of minutes introducing this. So around 15 minutes or so to rewrite this article. But the thing is, I didn't really have to think too much. I just had to decide, put some input in there, run the generation of it, select my favorite of them, and then paste it into my document. So like I said, if you just wanted to straight up rewrite PLR, you could stop there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to take it a step further and take it into Frase. I already put Jennifer's original article in there, but let's go ahead and just paste our rewritten version in here. So Frase is a optimization tool that helps you figure out what the top ranking articles for these keywords on Google, have included in their article so that you can improve your own article to make sure that you're including everything that you need to include. So when you put this in here, you're going to get some information here on the side. So our main keyword is tips for better sleep. So overview, it looked at 20 results and it found that my content is 604 and the average in the top 20 is 1,366. So we actually don't have to add a ton to get into that range. I have one header. Well, that's because I didn't actually highlight any of my headers as headers, but the average is 5. Obviously, I have no links for images. The average has 7 outbound links or links to somewhere else, and then 3 images in it. So one thing you can tell is we've got some pretty stiff competition here. So whether this is actually worth even posting to a blog is probably a question you want to ask first. But it is something that you could include as maybe a lead magnet. So one thing that you might want to do is if you are doing low content or printables, have some sort of sleep journal and have tips for better sleep as part of that journal. This could be your introduction. So we're competing with CDC. We can expand their header and we can see some of their habits. Get exercise, avoid large meals, caffeine, and alcohol before bedtime. So we could add that in. Try cutting out sugar and caffeine after 6. So we could say that large meals and alcohol can also interfere with a good night's sleep. Try to avoid these after dinner as well. Okay, so you can scroll through here. Some of these where they've got different heading levels, it will show the actual headers in here. Sometimes you need to expand to see not the whole article, but part of it. Sleep Foundation, how to sleep better, how to optimize your sleep schedule. So fixed wake-up time. Adjust your schedule gradually. So that's a good little tip. Let's add that into our sleep routine thing here. So try to go to bed the same time every night. You may need to adjust your bedtime and waking time gradually. Actually, let me just change this a little bit. If your sleeping patterns are really out of whack, you may need to adjust your bedtime and waking time. Gradually. Okay, so we can scroll through some more. And so I never want to copy. So I picked up one little tidbit from there. I'm going to kind of pay attention to whether I see that tip in any of my other ones. My general thought is that that is not a very specific tip, but if I don't see it anywhere else, then I may actually change this. Where did I get that from? That is from sleepfoundation.org. So you could actually say the experts at Sleep Foundation recommend that you adjust your bedtime and waking gradually. So, and then I would insert the link in there. So I would continue scrolling through all of these and adding to my article that way, but I want to show some of the other ways that you can use Frase as well. So we can also click on this next tab here under top results, and it's going to give me a lot of headers here that it has found. So if I wanted to add some more tips in here, I could scroll through here and see if there's any other sorts of tips that I want to add. So maybe a deep breathing exercise. So we had something about pre-bed routines, so reading. Another exercise you can try is spending a few minutes maybe, practicing deep breathing exercises. So in terms of citing, like I said up here, if it's something that's fairly common sense, you usually don't need to cite it if you're finding it in multiple places. If it's a more unique thing, or if it's something that a particular person has said, then you probably do want to cite it. It's better to cite than to not cite. You can't really get in trouble for citing your sources. You can for plagiarizing. So you do need to be mindful of that as you're using Frase and these top results to improve your article. But as long as you're kind of heavily paraphrasing or just taking main ideas, you cannot copyright an idea. So if you take the idea of doing deep breathing exercises and write your own sentence about it, that's not plagiarizing. You cannot copyright ideas, and you cannot copyright a list either. So that's something worth keeping in mind as well. So it also shows some links and some stats. So I think this is nice and useful too. You can find quotes in here. So this would be nice. Restorative yoga poses from healthharvard.edu. So that would be a high quality outbound link to include. Unfortunately, it doesn't give us the details, but you could click on this link and read the article. Starting a gratitude list every day. Again, if you were using this as part of low content, this could also be somewhere where you might link to a gratitude journal as well. So you can find some nice quotes in here with the links and everything already there. And then also it's finding stats too. So something reduced the time it took to fall asleep by 83%. I'm curious what that might be. So you could click on that link and find out what it was. So stats are nice to include, and this is an easy way to get a bunch of stats that you can add to your article to make it more authoritative. All right, so next, topic score I don't really use. It's kind of looking at how many words or phrases get mentioned in the different articles, and with the idea that if you wanted to be optimized, you would include the same phrases for the same number of times in your article, but I honestly don't care about that. I do look at the questions. I think that's useful because it can help me to add new paragraphs to my content. So this is from the SERPs, and then also we can get the people also asked section, which shows up on the Google results when you would search for tips for better sleep. So 3 techniques. Let's see, how can I sleep better at night naturally? So we may be able to fit that in, or that could actually be our slant that we do. We could make this a little bit more long tail by saying, how can we sleep naturally? In fact, I'm going to add that right in here. So tips on how to sleep through the night. That might be for children, although adults have problems with that too. Food for good sleep habits. So I think we've covered most of that. It will also link to questions people asked on Quora, and then you can link to the answer if you find something interesting here. And then also Reddit, same thing. You can look at the questions people have asked on Reddit, and it will link to the actual source. And then the other thing is it will give you also some related results. So you can see more results. Here's 20 simple tips. And so when you click process link, it's going to give you some of that information like we saw on the first set of results, where it's going to give us all the different headers that we can then expand and see. So this only has an H1 heading, so we're only getting just the first part of it. So we'd have to actually look at all of this on the actual article in order to find it. And that has to do with how they formatted. They just have an H1 heading. They haven't put any of their headings into H2 tags or anything like that. So, and then we can also find results from the news. And then also we can we can look at what Wikipedia has to say about sleep disorders, insomnia, etc. And when you open a concept map of, let's say, insomnia, we see a bunch of medication. It's mostly talking about medication, so that's not super useful to our article. I think sleep hygiene would be probably a closer keyword to what we're writing about. And so we can see some information about it, some recommendations, and also some related keywords here. A lot of medications still. You're not really seeing much that we can add here. We could say not to exercise too close to bedtime. So that's something we could add. So exercise, but not too late in the day. So, and then we could do some more research and write something there as a paragraph. So that is how I am using AI to rewrite a PL article and then taking it into Frase to see what I can do to kind of bulk it up a little bit. And so we kind of looked at all the different things that Frase will give you just when you put in your keyword and paste in your article, and you can kind of quickly scroll without really ever leaving this page unless, for some reason you need to click on a link to Reddit or Quora, or if, they're not giving you all the tags here that you can expand. This doesn't give you the full article when you do this. It gives you kind of a snippet of it, but it sometimes will give you enough to add some little bits in here. So again, be mindful of how you use this, that you're not actually copying or plagiarizing anything, but I think if you cherry pick things from here and you keep in mind what is and is not copyrightable, and you really paraphrase and just take a tip here, a tip there, you should be fine. And then again, if in doubt, cite your sources. So I hope that has been helpful. We have taken about 34 minutes to do this pretty much in real time. And we've brought our 400-word article up to about 670 words, but I've been talking through a lot of that instead of actually working and writing. But if we added in this paragraph about exercise, I'll bet you could easily get up to 800 here. And our target is 1,300. That doesn't mean you need 1,300. That's just the average. So, but I think with all the information here, we really could make this a nice listicle article and easily get it up to 12 or 1,300 words with maybe another 15 to 20 minutes work. Again, this is optional. You can totally rewrite PLR in about 15 to 20 minutes per article, maybe even less once you get good at it. But that is a workflow that I have been working with to rewrite all the PLR that's accumulated on my hard drive.